Hello, friends of Game of Thrones and the new series, The House of the Dragon. Welcome to our spoiler review of episode 8. And let's talk about jumps in time. Another 6 years later. Wow. I mean, it goes like quick. So what do you think about this? I mean, can you really even connect to the whole story? I feel, I mean, they're not even having the courtesy to start like saying, okay, this is, they could like show 6 years later or something like this. They don't. And it takes you like a little while to figure this out, and you don't know who is who's living with whom, who's still alive, who's in what position, who's the hand recently, what happened. So I mean, and I don't think they do a good job of introducing this situation. How do you guys feel about it?
Yes, I was at first a little bit out. To connect to characters for me is very hard to say. I can't connect to the characters really, or I can't build emotional connection to them because, yeah, we have three time lapses now, I believe. One was 3 years, the other one 10 years, the other one 6 years, and everything changes. And I have a connection to the story and I'm interested in the story at least, but there is, yeah, no strong connection to any of the characters for me.
Same here. I mean, there are some characters who seem to be interesting, and I don't even know their names anymore because I mean they're so quickly like what's the name of the guy who has like the I see one of the sons of Allison with the lash, not eyelash,
It was
eye patch.
it was Viserys, I believe. It's the king,
Is that
King Viserys.
Viserys?
Yeah.
No.
No,
No,
I guess
not
it's
King Viserys.
Aegon,
No,
and
no, no, no,
the
no. The
son.
son of Allison.
The son is
The
Aegon, I
son,
guess.
the son. Okay, the son.
Is the oldest son? Is that Aegon, or is it which one
I,
is Aegon? I thought Aegon was the. I can get completely confused. That's the truth. Like I mean, maybe if you do a review, we shouldn't be confused. We should research it in full detail. But the truth is, I'm
but
getting
actually,
confused. I'm just watching this.
that is the point. So I was surprised as well by the time lapse, and I felt like I was in a history lesson with someone just going briefly through it, and now watch out and listen. And after this hour, we write a test. So I sort of try to make some notes to understand it, but I don't think I guess I'd fail the test. It's confusing.
Yes, I mean. And it's true. Like I remember watching Game of Thrones, I didn't have to make notes on the characters, who is who and who was like, and what's he looking like in this episode.
Yes.
It's
Every person
keep track.
was characterized by certain deeds, and you could remember the main persons, and there were a lot. But here I'm at a loss.
Yeah, and they don't even adjust. I mean, like when you for example write a book, you make sure the character names are different, the characters are distinguished, so people will not confuse who's speaking, who is that. And they have a lot more tools here in a visual medium, but I still get lost without making extra efforts to track this. I mean, some characters seem to develop be interesting. Like I'm just going to refer him as Allison's son who lost an eye. He seems to be like a cool fighter now. He can beat the Sir Christian guy who, or maybe Sir Christian became a loser. I don't know, because it's 6 years later again. I don't know. He was cool like when we met him first, 19 years ago. But then he doesn't look 19 years older to start with. So everybody else is aging. He doesn't. But
yes, and
I don't
also
know. I mean,
fighting with one missing eye is also tricky, I guess. So yeah, maybe a bit exaggerating, or maybe he is such an.
yeah, I was wondering the same thing. You're quite right. Because fighting can be a lot about getting a clear idea of distance. I mean, he evades sword cuts narrowly. So how does he know how far to step back? Doing that with one eye is a lot more challenging than doing it with two eyes. So I don't know if his fighting style would have matched the loss of an eye, but he seems to be a pretty good fighter. And I mean, the character they have now for him actually has a face that is recognizable, that's distinguishable, and he looks interesting. I don't know. His, I suppose, younger brother seems to be a bit of an a-hole, to put it mildly. He's a rapist, and I honestly thought he would, the girl he raped, Alicent, would just kill her. But apparently she has some pity, slapped his son to the face, and that's it. I don't know. But I don't really know where she's at. I don't know if she's the person who would kill a woman, so the reputation of her son would be untarnished. On the other hand, I also don't get the system of justice. Somebody accuses the Rhaenyra's son of being bastards, and he can be just openly killed in front of everybody, and it doesn't matter. It's not like, hey, he was attacked from behind and killed. Maybe this is not okay. So why would anybody care about Alicent's son raping some maidservant? Is that a problem even? I don't know. How does that work? So also, if I don't know the rules, I can't care. It's one of, like, in storytellings, it's like a fundamental law. I mean, in terms of magic, Brandon Sanderson once said, you can't care about a solution with magic if you don't know the rules of this magic. And the same applies, as he says, for other fields, technology, or I would say law in this case. I can't care for the politics here if I don't understand the rules. What are you allowed to do? Can you just kill everybody off and it's fine? Or, it depends on who your allies are. What is I mean, in reality, of course, it just really depends. I mean, you can probably do everything. We see this in the world right now, if you get away with it. But who cares about what? Who would be an acceptable ally to whom, and who would support somebody who just kill his competition openly in the throne room? I don't know. And it makes it very difficult for me to say, oh, that happened. Oh, apparently nobody cares. Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
I mean,
how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I mean, Viserys, quite a few episodes before, he said if anybody calls Rhaenyra's sons bastards again, he will cut or kill him, or cut his tongue, or will kill him. So actually, in my opinion, it was a kind of royal order, so to say, and at least you can put it like that, because Viserys wanted to cut his tongue after he said that. So Daemon just did it a little harder, so to say.
A little, yeah.
But at least he could keep his tongue.
Yeah. I mean,
but he's dead now. Yes.
like, what is the right of somebody? I don't know, and I'm kind of losing track. I'm losing track of the characters. I don't know who is who's being played by who, because to some extent this is a visual thing. It's not just like, I mean, in first episode where the new Rhaenyra was introduced, we didn't even know who it was until some point into the episode. At least I wasn't sure. We have constantly new faces for everybody. Of course, yes, some people grow up, so it will be difficult. And but then I think this should be reinforced a lot better, and maybe not just so many jumps. If they had one season for one timeline, and then the next season is 10 years later, okay, I can live with that. But not like this season has already, within 8 episodes, covered 19 years.
Yeah, that's a little
and some
bit...
characters, I believe, have, changed. Actors have changed like 2 times in some cases, 1 time in most cases, none in others. They could have like CGI aged them, and it would maybe have made more sense. They only did that with Viserys, which, by the way, was like the missing eye and stuff. Cool CGI.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm with you that time lapse between the episodes, or one introduced time lapse in or between the seasons, not episodes. And in while viewing one season, there could be one time lapse, but it should be introduced, and it feels just random. You know what I mean? There are just random time
Yeah,
lapses
absolutely.
on.
And they don't tell you. I mean, like you could, go into the whole thing. I mean, other movies and series do this. They just show you like, okay, this is 10 years later, and it's okay. Then you know where you are, and then you'd expect something, and then they could take much more care to introduce your new characters. So you like somebody speaks to them. Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be like bad dialogue, like "Hi Rhaenyra, hi Daemon," but Daemon doesn't change, so he seems to be the same guy 19 years later. So Christian is the same guy 19 years later, and I don't even see significant aging in either of the two.
Yeah.
I see significant aging in Viserys, definitely, yes, but that's could be more due to the illness, and then some characters are just replaced, and also, with such long lapses of time, we don't know where are these characters now? Where are they in terms of their character, in terms of their personality? I don't know. I don't know what to expect of them. And it's okay to have like a surprise of a character, somebody you thought wasn't so bad, and then probably they do something pretty badass. Okay, if the character development is there and you kind of see some foreshadowing, and then suddenly it happens and you go like, wow, I didn't expect this. This is cool. Or even the other way around, somebody who thought looks like a tough soldier, but is a coward in some situation. That can be a cool change if it's done well. But none of this, we don't even know. I have no expectation of somebody if I just being introduced to the fact that they're 6 years later. Like the son of the queen, the eye patch guy. He's now a cool fighter. Okay, that can happen 6 years later, of course.
Yeah, but it is not good introduced, in my opinion. So
It's
could
really
do better.
badly introduced. Bad storytelling, really bad storytelling. And we don't even know we never know. There's no reliable storytelling as well. Like, is Viserys now dead for good? Or, I mean, it's like the 3rd time or so I think he's probably dead now. I don't know. Is he?
Let's see the next episode. Yeah.
It reminds me like the 5 endings of the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. Like, it's the 5 deaths of Viserys. It's only 3 by now, but I think, but I don't know.
Well, we can safely assume that this is a final, probably, but we'll wait and see.
That's not safe. That's nothing safe here. And it's lazy storytelling. It's still lazy storytelling.
It is. It's really lazy, and they just pick cherries and so don't care very much about the rest. And it's a bit difficult to relate to it. I guess, for instance, Rhaenyra. So it's hard to feel sympathy with the characters if you hardly see anything of them.
Yeah, and you don't know. I mean, also sympathy and connection to characters has something to do with them acting. That's like one of the basic rules for writing. If you want to be invested in a character, nobody's invested in the most passive blob. And apparently, things just happen to everybody. Nobody really does anything. I mean, not big time anyway. There's no big doings. There's just happenings, you know. So I don't really care. Something's gonna happen. I don't know. Which was like the big. I mean, the last guy who really risked something and did something was actually, I'm gonna call him Eye Patch Guy, because I really don't know his name. You know, I don't know which of the queens. I said the queen because I'm just I don't even know her name was mentioned in the whole episode. You know, and I forget them. I just forget them. And her son, yes, I think it's her oldest son. He did this cool thing about getting a dragon last time, and now he seems to be a cool fighter. So he could develop into an interesting character, but I'm not even sure if I want to invest. And there is no that's also like what's big complaint. My big complaint here is there are no good characters. They're all evil, but there's no good. You know, there's no. In the original Game of Thrones series, I thought the Starks were good, and I did think Daenerys was good. Okay, we know about the plot twist at the end, but as far as I was concerned, she seemed to be a good character, and I was for her. I was for. There's nobody who's good. Who's good? Anybody who's good?
No, I believe
Where are the good guys?
they aren't existent at the moment. At least, at my opinion, I'm not sure about Rhaenyra yet. Now, no one is
Not
really,
really. I mean,
really
she
good.
kind of killed her husband. I mean, yes, he was gay and kind of in the way, gay and in the way, but that's really not a reason to kill somebody, you know. So, I mean, that doesn't. I mean, she had to deal with him, of course. Yes, it didn't kind of work out.
Actually, he survived. In the last episode, we see
Did he?
both on the boat. I guess it was Carl and Lena.
Yeah, they traveled away.
Oh,
Yes.
I missed it. I seem to have missed it.
Yeah,
But,
it was. I had to
well,
look at twice to find out who he was because he looked different. But so he survived. But anyway, it seemed like
okay,
they killed
somebody.
it seems to everybody else he was killed. Yes.
Okay, well,
So
I don't know about
Lady
it. You know, but
Rhaenys, this is really hard. But
yeah, and
she yeah.
and I have to say, like, you know, this is little details like this. And I love looking for details as a reviewer, but at the moment I just review the fact that it's really difficult to follow the whole story.
Yes, it is.
And while I'm at it, by the way, watching the whole thing in English is so challenging with Sky's weird, shitty controls. Like it's the least working system of any of the like Netflix is better, Disney is better, Amazon is better. It's so complicated. Anyway,
Yeah.
but it kind of works.
So
Just as a side note, I had to add a little. But how do you feel about this guy? Are you really into the story? I mean, there is interest for me. I want to know what's happening next, but still, whatever happens, I don't really care. Like, I'm kind of interested. I want to know what's happening. I want to know who's going to be on the Iron Throne eventually, but I really don't care who is at the same time. I'm just curious. I want to find out, and then whatever. Yeah.
Yes, it's the
How do
same
you
with
feel?
me. I'm not into it with all my heart because it's been made very difficult. So it's also confusing in some respects that are probably meant to be confusing, and not the other confusing stuff that wasn't meant to be. For instance, after reconciliation activities of King Viserys, the last words he says to Alicent is that Prince Aegon is, in his opinion, the one who unites the realm and protects it against the cold, so against the north, against the White Wanderer, I guess. And this is a bit confusing. There are two Aegons. That's the one thing. And it seems to be in order for Alicent to do something. Maybe I'm too stupid, but I got lost at that point.
And I don't know what she's up to anyway. I mean, did she kind of accept that Rhaenyra was going to be queen at some point, and is she now, oh, I'm going to have to fight again, or how does it even work? And which, yeah, and the other thing is which Aegon was meant in the first place, and why does Viserys, after doing this really bad thing of trying to unite the two, now, you know, I mean, he was like. I mean, he was like a coward and a non-figure most of the time. He did a little bit of a decision towards Rhaenyra's succession line, but I thought he was going to do a big thing on this dinner, like maybe give up the crown and have Rhaenyra have it or something like this. So then he would have made a difference. But just everybody be nice to each other, and that didn't work. You know, any moment longer since. Not even as, you know, he just left the room and then they were already fighting again, you know. So
Yeah.
it kind of doesn't make any sense. And just one last thought. Oh no, we just.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about this?
My thoughts about this are at first the first question you asked. I'm also not connected to the characters anymore, or it's hard to connect at least, but I'm somehow interested into the story, and that's something why I want to watch it. Yeah, also the next episode, I'm interested in how the story develops, and yeah, it's more interest into the story, not into the characters, and yeah.
Yeah, and also I have some problems with the story because some things seem to be constructed very much. Like, for example, the hair color of the children of Rhaenyra is the main reason why they think that they are bastards, which of course we all know they are. But for example, Alicent's children, they have basically the sort of the same genetic situation. One parent is blonde and of Targaryen origin, one parent isn't and has dark hair, and they were all blonde and they all look like the perfect Targaryens, so there's no question here. I do get that in theory Rhaenyra's children should have blonde hair because both supposed parents would be blonde, and maybe they should also have a darker darker skin color, because the supposed father would have. But I mean, she could have. Yeah, she should in theory have just as much chances to have like a blonde child, or was her lover, was he so much darker in his hair color? I don't know. I mean, the story seems to favor this particular conflict, and it's like 100%. Like, it's not like Alicent has one child that has a bit of a darker hair color, or she has one. Rhaenyra has one that is maybe also blonde. So no, nothing. So that seems to be constructed. Or how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I'm totally with you, and yeah, in my opinion, yeah, it's constructed. Let's put it like that. Yeah, I have nothing to add here.
It feels
Yeah, the same.
stilted. You know, it's constructed in any way because it's a story. But I mean, Andrea, what do you think?
It's not logical. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, it could happen in theory, I guess, but it's like little bits like this that you know, you have no feeling for anything. Like, you don't. I don't know how many dragons are in this world. Who has a dragon? Who doesn't? You know, who lives even at what place? Who even is at what place? You know, I don't recognize the places. I don't recognize who is where. I don't know who has maybe an army, who doesn't. You know, if this ever is going to come. And I also all the time feel like the real story is going to start. I don't feel the story has started yet. After episode 8, I don't know. Is this even the season final already? I don't even know.
Good question.
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I'm really interested what in the next episode will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested, but I'm also I'm a little I'm in this weird blind between I kind of want to know, but I'm not sure how much I care still, even about the story.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky for me as well.
So I'm curious about our listeners. How do you feel about this? Do you have the same problems relating that we seem to have, or do you have different problems, or are you fully into it? And what's your thoughts about it? Who is your favorite character? Do you have a favorite character? Who do you identify with? That would be my questions to everybody who's watching.
Yeah, we're looking forward to see your comments.
Thank you for watching, and looking forward to speak to you in the chat, in the comments, and see you in the review for the next episodes. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.